All right.
Hi, everybody. It's Andra, and I have a really special guest for you. I always tell you that what you put into your health is what you get out of it. And a lot of people think because I'm a nurse, it was easier for me to figure out. Not the case entirely. But I have someone with me here today who got information from doctors, and he really didn't like what the doctors were telling him. And he decided that he was going to go on his own wellness journey because he didn't want to take medications and he just wanted to live a better quality life. So this is Henry Gaskins, and he's going to tell you a little bit more about what that journey was like for him. And I want you to understand that this is possible for you and anybody out there, that you really can have optimal health. So here's Henry. Hi, Henry.
Hello, hello. I mean, it's amazing to get a chance to talk with you and to reach out to your group. And I'm just a guy, and I'm happy to share my story. And I just want everybody to understand that there is that truth. It's so cliche, but if you can believe it and if you can conceive it and believe it, you certainly can achieve it. And it's just a matter of getting the right information, taking the right actions, and making the commitment. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you're here. You know, we've talked before. I've introduced you in my groups as Uncle Henry. So
I have so many nieces now.
I know.
I have so many nieces, and I guess because I'm bald now, it took now that I'm bald, I have all these nieces and nephews, but mostly nieces, which is not a bad thing. Let me tell you.
Yeah, well, you're well loved. So I know that, we have spoken on so many times. I've had appeared on one of your shows because you have a YouTube channel and podcast and stuff, which we'll tell them about, because I love what you share. And you talk about your journey and really what it was like. Someone had told you that you were pre-diabetic and you weren't having it. You said, I'm not taking medicine. I'm not taking needles. This is what I'm going to do. Tell me about that.
Well, it's like this, okay? I can go back further and talk about when the doctor wanted to remove the part of my collarbone, but that's a different story. But that kind of set the pace because I began to realize that, yes, doctors have knowledge and they have skill, but they don't necessarily act in the best interest of the patient. They tend to treat a symptom as opposed to going to the core of the problem. Some of that is because of what the American psyche has adopted, the idea that we just have a pain and we take a pill. The pharmaceutical company is complicit in this. And so here's my story as far as type 2 diabetes and being pre-diabetic. So I was working with and taking care of my wife. I was driving her back and forth from home to work. So I was up early in the morning, and then she worked late. And then at one point, I wound up working third shift, trying to sleep and during the day, and then getting up to take her to pick her up, bring her home from work, and then going back to work. And that was an insane time. Well, I still went to the gym. I'm not a gym rat, but I liked to go and work out. And I was still somewhat heavier. I wasn't, I was what you would call skinny fat. So what has happened is this. I actually went into this situation. I finally got on days, and I would get off of work and go to the gym. And one of the things I found going on with me was that I wasn't feeling all that great. I couldn't finish my workouts. I was tired when I got home. I would call my sister or my wife on the way home just to talk so I don't pass out on the road, that sort of thing. I wound up going to the doctor, and the doctor says, well, you're pre-diabetic. Now, all this time, I really hadn't been paying attention, because what was going on was, all the other doctors were just say, kind of, say things casually and then pop me another pill. Say things casually and then give me another pill, And so this time it caught my attention, because he says, well, look, you're pre-diabetic. Don't worry about it, though. I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to put you on insulin. We're going to give you some metformin. and you'll be fine. You can manage it. You're overweight, that happens, that you're getting older, and don't worry about it. This runs in the family, Black people, because I get that a lot. Okay, and you guys, that's part of your culture. You guys are going to get sick like this. And so, first of all, I got insulted. Second of all,
rightfully so.
Second of all, I began to do the research. And so I said to myself, no, I'm not going to go on insulin. The other thing that happened too was remembering my father and my mom. So my dad did adopt the SAD. So when I say that my dad adopted the SAD, my father was part of follow the standard American diet. And it was very strange that, I don't know, it was, I guess, intuitive when I was a kid, because he would get up and make breakfast after a while, pancakes, or make, some sort of high sugar, high starch, high carbohydrate type of thing.
The good tasting things.
Yeah. And I would not eat. I was like, I'm good, I'm not going there, I'm not hungry, which I wasn't. I got up, I went. So that's when I was a kid. So I knew intuitively that I didn't have to eat so early. But when it came to dealing with this condition, I wanted to know, was it reversible? So I began to delve into the research. And everything I ran into, all the doctors that I've spoken to, that I've researched and watched, individuals like Dr. Joel Furman, who actually is on my YouTube channel, Dr. Mark Hyman, who I would hope to be on my YouTube channel one day, really famous guy. But all of these doctors and others, nurses that I've run into, said it's absolutely reversible. Here's what you have to do. So what I did, instead of going on a diet, like when they told my father, go on a diet. So they put him on insulin and they expected him to go on a diet to lose weight. I don't know.
We know that doesn't work.
Why doesn't it work? It doesn't work because insulin promotes the storage of fat.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So that's one of the challenges. And my poor dad was shooting himself up every day with insulin and wondering why he wasn't losing the weight. Well, so I said, no, I'm not going to do insulin. Absolutely not. Now, they offered the metformin. I said, okay, because I started finding out that metformin has some actual longevity properties. In fact, it actually bolsters the production of adenosine triphosphate, which is ATP, that's part of the mitochondria, that your mitochondria makes. So that's a good thing if you want to live longer. On the other hand, when it came to things like insulin, I wasn't going to do that. What I did was this: instead of dieting, which I don't believe in because the first 3 letters spell die, so I would prefer not to do that, I went and changed my eating lifestyle. I started to restrict my eating times. So I would lengthen the time that I stayed a little hungry and did not eat, so that my glucose levels would be regulated and my body had a chance to regulate itself. What will happen at that point is your body, actually, your insulin has a chance to work with the glucose and your glucose levels lowers. My A1C, when I started my journey, was 11.9.
Really high.
My A1C for the past couple of years now has been 5.6. My glucose on the glucometer, how do you do it? Glucometer, okay, on my little glucometer, it started out well above 300. It's like 360, 369 at that. It is now consistently an average of 89 to maybe 110.
That's normal. Right. That's normal.
Wake up in the morning, it's a little higher, like 120 sometimes, especially if I have a really exciting dream. That's about it. But I've gotten to the point now, like I said, I always worked out. I stopped going to the gym. I haven't been to the gym since before COVID began. And strangely enough, the weight, I lost 25 pounds. I was 214. It didn't show as much, but you could feel it in a way. I'm down to 190, and my lowest was actually 181. I'm going to try to get back to about 185, because even though I'm 5'7", I still have, you can see it through the sweater, a little bit of muscle. And so the BMI, the body mass index, is a little deceiving at that point, because all it looks at is your height and your weight. But with me, being down to that weight is not a bad thing. I'd be pretty well shredded. And that's not a bad thing to have. I get up in the morning, I do a specific exercise that I take all my clients through. I teach them how to move into it slowly. And myself, and I do not expect everyone else to do this, but every morning I do 100 push-ups a day in addition to several different exercises. It takes about 20 minutes. And it's interesting, I can go to work now, because right now I still have a little bit of a day job, and I can get there. And when I get there, they say, "How you doing?" I say, "I am excellent." And that kind of confuses people. Some people get a little ticked off. But the fact of the matter is, I really do feel excellent. I really feel great. Okay. And I don't have the same dragging feeling as I had before. I know that if I eat something in moderation, my body can sustain it. And most importantly, I've avoided, to this point, and hopefully into the far-flung future, I've avoided the awful side effects that come with the quote unquote drugs to help treat your diabetes. Okay, I actually came across one. I don't know if I can share a couple of side effects with you, just one. And this is a relatively new one. Can I do that?
Yeah, sure.
I don't know if I'm going to mention the name of it, but let's see if I can pull it up for you.
When you look in a drug book, Henry, this is what the fascinating thing, like every drug, the most common side effects are nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea, right? But
Yes.
they don't, but listen, but they don't tell you about all the blood dyscrasias and what it does to your platelet counts and all that other stuff. You know, you're trying to get rid of rosacea on your face and you risk dying of leukemia. It never made sense to me as a nurse why people would take those risks, you know. So a lot of the nurses are on board with that. Like when we see people on excessive medications, we talk to the doctors and say, you know what is calcium doing for her at 99 years old? Can we take her off this humongous pill? You know, so I get it, but there's side effects to everything. And that's why if you can do it like you did it, and you know, anybody really can, it's just that commitment that we talk about all the time, Henry.
You know what? Let's do this real quick. Let's understand what the word side effect for a second, okay? All right. So the pharmaceutical company, let's put these two organizations, these two conglomerates, next to one another. The pharmaceutical companies and the military in terms of terminology. All right. So in terms of terminology, pharmaceuticals, they say that their drug of choice, their weapon against the disease, against the illness, has side effects. Now, the military has a term too for the effects of their weapons against the enemy. And we call that collateral damage. Oh, a bomb went off, a drone came, and we got the target. The target was this really bad, nasty guy. He was a threat. And we got him. Well, now, what's the collateral damage? Collateral damage is all the kids, the family members, the family dog, you name it, that was also wiped out. Side effects. Okay, the effect that we want, well, this will lower your glucose. And on the other hand, it'll cause anxiety, it'll cause depression, it'll cause chills, it'll cause cold sweats, confusion, constipation, it'll cause cold, pale skin, it'll cause coughing, darkened urine, depression, diarrhea, difficulty swallowing, dizziness, fast heartbeats, fevers, headaches, increased lung, large hive-like swelling on face, eyelids, lip, tongue, throat, hands,
you'll be
legs,
there for
feet,
another 10
sex
minutes reading
organs.
just the side effects, but
Okay,
they
so
don't.
no, they're not side effects. They are effects. They call them side effects because they don't want you to
Well,
focus
there's a
on that.
difference. There's actually, nurses, we have to know the side effects of all medications because we have to monitor them. And some of them have hundreds of them, but we have to know them. So there's side effects and there's adverse effects. So there's
right.
two different categories that we have to know.
But you see, those are just.
And the adverse effect is that the drug that you got created a different effect than the one you were intending. And that's the case with 99% of the drugs.
Which, here's the thing about it though. They're all in one pill. All these things, all these characteristics are in one pill. That happens to have the treatment, the effect that they want. It's not as if here's this pill and then someone else, these guys just say, hey, you want to hang out with Ozempic? Yeah, let's go do that. Come on, diarrhea, let's go hang out with them. Nobody makes that choice. We don't get an option A. We don't get multiple choices. We categorize them as side effects and adverse effects. But in nature, in the world, we don't walk out in nature and see a sign saying, there's side effects here, adverse effects here. The bottom line is this. Here's your alternative. You want some side effects, all right? Take the time to train your body, adjust your eating lifestyle, increase your green leafy, dark leafy green intake, okay, which are high in nutrients. Increase.
Very nutrient dense, yes.
Huh?
Very, very nutrient dense, yes.
Very nutrient dense, okay. Okay, go for go for your high quality supplements like CoQ10, like a good fish oil, okay. Then go for low glycemic fruits, so like your berries. Now, what are your side effects to that? Oh my God, it's going to be terrible. Your blood sugar is going to go down. You're going to have a lot more energy. You're going to it's going to regulate your intestinal fortitude so that you'll be regular when in terms of going to the bathroom, which is a big important thing. Your body's going to function properly. It's going to clean out the toxins. Oh my God, this is a terrible thing. Now, another option. Start lifting heavy things. It's funny, many of us are based in the Bible. I am very much so. And I remember something the Apostle Paul told Timothy. Sadly, in this day and age, so many people use that as a crutch because the Apostle Paul told Timothy that bodily training is beneficial for a little, but godly devotion is beneficial for all things. Now, that's very true. Now, let's look at that on a temporal, contextual level, okay? In other words, look at the history of the time. So here's the Apostle Paul. What did he do when he needed to go to Rome or any other place? He walked. Timothy walked with him. Yep. What did he do if he needed
to get in those steps? Gotta get in those steps.
What's the other thing he did? Okay. All right, I want to take a bath. This has been it's a long trip. I need to wash up. Well, I want nice warm water because I'm tired of bathing in a cold stream, which cold stream does have its merits, but I want to do that. All right, let me get going. So he's got to chop some wood. He's got to pick up that wood. He's got to build a fire. What does that do to your body? That is picking up heavy things. That is allowing your body
weight bearing.
So now we don't normally do that these days, unless you're roughing it like some of my other survival buddies do. If you're doing that, fine. But guess what? Most of us aren't doing that. What happened during the COVID? We got into Netflix and corn chips, right?
Speak for yourself. I was very busy.
Well, honey, I'm just talking to, I didn't do that myself. It was strangely enough, during that time, people were kind of asking me what happened because I had lost all this weight. and folks are kind of going out that way, But here's the idea. When you're picking up heavy things, even if you're using some small dumbbells and you're being consistent with it, your body will adjust. Now, what are the side effects to doing some weightlifting, some resistance training, rubber bands, whatever you got? What are the side effects of that? Oh my God, it's horrible. Your bone density will increase so that you don't get you limit your risk of osteoporosis or osteoarthritis. You're moving, so the old motto is motion is lotion, so you're lubricating your body. And guess what?
Move it or lose it.
Exactly. If you have your mind, though, if you're worried, if you're concerned about your mind, I want to tell you something. Dementia and Alzheimer's are now being called type 3 diabetes. So here's another tip. If you are increasing your heart rate through good exercise, you are increasing your blood flow to the brain. You'll be able to think better, and you're staving off and fighting off dementia. Most of the illnesses that
I don't know that I agree with that. Your brain is directly connected to your gut. So if you're staving off dementia, it's because your gut health is in a better state.
I agree with that.
It's not all about exercise, or doing exercise is going to decrease dementia, because staying active, mentally active, doing puzzles and things like that are going to do a lot more for your mental clarity than physical exercise. And
well, I'll tell you,
diet is more.
I'll tell you this, okay? We're talking about a combination of all things. We're not talking about just one. And when and what we're doing now is this, as one doctor says, Dr. Daniel Amen said, when you have blood flow issues in one place, you have blood flow issues everywhere. And if we're
it's the same pump. So yeah,
exactly.
if it's not going to your brain, it ain't going to your kidneys either.
If we're increasing that, or other places that are more important to men, when we're increasing those things, you see, your circulation is going everywhere. You're increasing that. So yes, it's an additional effect, positive effect in terms of dementia and things of that nature. But it's all combined, because yes, the gut is important, is vital. Hippocrates said it best.
The gut is the most important thing. A lot of people waste time on trying to improve other things in their life, but your gut is connected to your mood. Your gut is connected to your heart function, your immunity. Without your immunity, you're dead. It's directly connected to your brain. The hypothalamus is the gatekeeper for between the gut and the brain. So now, you got to if you take care of one, you basically take care of all of them, but you have to be consistent. And people can't get their minds around, I got to do this every day. They think that, it's a one and done. And you and I both know that it's a lifestyle. I can learn to like chocolate just as much as I can learn to like spinach. So it's a choice. I eat a lot more spinach than I do chocolate, but I eat my chocolate because I love it, Yeah. And I eat a lot of those high glycemic foods. I do a cycle with my diet, and I walk a lot of clients through it. So it repairs and it feeds your body that sugar that you need. Right. So that, because most people restrict when they go on these diets, and they do that big window that you were talking about, and you really need more consistency. So when you feed the high glycemic, it acts like those carbs that your body's been missing, and it takes you out of restrictive mode. So you will get to your results quicker when you eat the high. You eat the high on one day and the low on another day. You cycle between them.
Yeah, well, that's very true. Another option, okay, and this is just me. For me, I tend to do it. I have when you're fasting when you're sleeping. So when I wake up, I'm already in the fasted state. That's why, as you remember, when the doctor wants to examine the person first thing in the morning, they on the chart before they do NPO, nothing past midnight, because they wanted them in a fasted state for at least 8 hours, right? So myself, I wake up in that fasted state. I try to extend it, and at a certain point, well, you're usually around 12:30 or so. I've had a good 14-hour fast and I don't feel it. And after a while, my energy levels just shoot right up and I'm bouncing all over the place. So the other thing I do is now when I do that during the week, but on the weekend I'm a little bit more relaxed. And yesterday I had my my favorite cheat meal. Favorite cheat meal for me is a nice bowl of Asian soup. There's this place down here in Raleigh. It's actually one of the top restaurants, I think, in the States, but it's a little Asian place. I think it's Laotian food, and they serve the most wonderful confit ramen noodle soup that you can imagine. And that's my little cheat. Sometimes I might do a Vietnamese because I'm funny that way, just like to use my chopsticks. And so I'll do that. Maybe I'll have a candy bar or something like that. But when I come back to the weekend, during the week, I do utilize something that is a low glycemic, not one of those common sweeteners. I do not use sucralose. I do not use saccharin, obviously. I do not use the one in the blue pouch either. Okay, and the reason why is that we're
They're
now
worse for you than actual sugar. So good,
Yeah.
good job.
in another.
I'm sugar free, except
one of the reasons
for my
for that-
chocolate.
One of the reasons for that though is they're now discovering what the microbiome, the role that it plays in our body, and it's amazing. You see, so you remember when maybe when you were little and your parents would make you play outside in the backyard. They didn't realize it, but it had its health benefits because you developed a healthy gut microbiome. In fact, if we're taking care of, as Andra said, if we're taking care of that, you've won a good portion of the battle, but you have to maintain things as a whole. That's why I try to work with my clients. Most of my clients are busy individuals who don't have time to go to a gym. Sometimes they need
You have to find time though. If you leave out that self-care, it's not good for your head either. So
No.
they need to find that time. So they
That's
need
why
to learn time management because
that's why I take them through a series so that they learn to have their first victory of the day without even going to the gym. They create their gym in-house. That's why I do the workout that I do. That's why I teach them. Some of them they've never. I had one person that had never picked up a dumbbell in his life. I had him just buy them. Then I had him name them. Then I had him talk to them. So that after a while he's used to seeing them. He's used to saying something to them. Now when he picks them up, now we can work in terms of doing something. It doesn't have to be a whole lot, but just get them doing something. But the whole idea, if you're already walking, and I hope that you are, and I don't mean going out for a 15-mile hike. If you are walking from here to the bus stop, if you are walking down a flight of stairs, maybe 2 or 3, then that's a great start. You're already there. We can work with that. The important thing is that we help you to do what's necessary to reverse the illness, get healthy, and be your best self. And there's the other thing that we want to ask, and I want to ask you, what are your thoughts on this, Andra?
I want to share a story with you.
Come share me a story. Share a story. This is your house.
But I mean, it's pretty interesting. So there was a study done, and there were 2 sets of housekeepers. Okay, so this is really like for mindset. So just keep that in mind. Okay. So there was 2 sets of housekeepers, and when they were asked what they did for their health, for their exercise, they both said nothing. I'm at work all the time, 16 hours, blah, 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 right? So, and their vitals and everything were all done, and they were monitored, and they were both all in good state of health, okay? So both groups, okay? So then one was given placebo, and the one group was told the fact that they were already doing so much exercise that folding those clothes and walking to the machines and doing this and bringing room service and all that stuff was a lot more exercise than most people get in a day. So they were given specific things to do over a 2-week time, and the group that was told that they were already exercising and really getting in that fitness lost weight and was in better shape at the end of 2 weeks, and they did nothing in their routine changed, except for now they had the presence of mind that they were exercising. The other group, who was not given, that bit of knowledge, nothing changed in them at all. So your mindset, and this is what I'm trying to tell you, has a lot to do with it. So if you, like you had said in the beginning, if you think you can, you will. But so many people let outside influences tell them they can't. We refer to doctors because they're supposed to have medical knowledge, but if they're not using that and they're just focusing on what you said, the symptoms and not a cure, what good are they? Because it's not really helping anybody. Taking a Tylenol is just, what is that doing? It's putting a hat on a problem. It doesn't do anything for you. So you have to get to the root of what really is causing the problem to really manage that problem. And it is a full system thing. And I thought it was interesting that you said that you lost weight when you go to the gym, because I teach all my clients to not go to the gym when they start decreasing their calories, because it actually works against you. It's the thyroid stops producing the thyroid hormone and you plateau. So I don't encourage that anyone runs to the gym and starts working out.
That's the thing. I didn't go to the gym. I
know, that's why I said that you lost weight when you didn't go, and that's why, because that's the right way to do it.
And on top of that, not eating the stuff. Another thing too is your stress levels. And we kind of talked about that a while back.
Your stress levels, everything. Your cortisol is your master hormone. So if your cortisol is out of control, every other hormone in your body is. It's like the puppet master. So nothing's working in any of your hormones if your stress is up. Your body's in chronic fight or flight, and it can't really act in the capacity that it needs to. So it basically shuts down and starts performing the correct way in all the areas. And stress is a killer.
Absolutely. But now, if a person is finding that their glucose levels are not going down as quickly, we have to look at lifestyle, because type 2 diabetes, prediabetes, is not just a medical condition, it is a lifestyle condition. So
also an autoimmune. So
it's autoimmune, but now autoimmune, if it's type 1, correct me if I'm wrong, it's autoimmune, yes, but I'm saying type 1 is more autoimmune than type 2, in the sense that type 2 is something that we can reverse. Type 1 is something the pancreas stress is
type 1 is genetic and you're born with it. It's not reversible. That's not what makes it autoimmune. Type 2 is autoimmune. So and most diabetes and all of like MS, all of that is autoimmune. So they all stem from the gut. That's where the autoimmune diseases start. But something like type 1 is not reversible. That's genetic, and most kids are born with that. So you can't reverse that with diet.
Exactly. The thing is, though, when it comes to our lifestyle, if we change that so that we're affecting our gut, we're building that up, we're healing that, we're increasing our microbiome levels, we're doing the things that need to be done. A simple thing as maintaining the proper breath can go a long way. A simple thing like increasing our nitric oxide in our system can go a long way. But the most important thing is, I think what we want to encourage everyone to do and to listen to is to take the steps to be in charge of your health,
take action,
your state of mind, your state of being. Mindset is the first thing. That's what we work with when it comes to the CRUSH method. The CRUSH method involves, first thing is to conceive and commit. You see, if we if we don't do that, if you don't conceive it, you don't see it in your mind, and then you're not willing to commit to it, then there's no sense in going any further. But when you're ready to do that, then everything else, you can refine and rework all of your strategies. You can be determined to undertake the work. You can be determined to sustain it and finally habituate everything so that you are living your best life. Now, I gotta ask, is that kombucha?
Yes, it is,
Kombucha?
baby. Kombucha.
Okay, she's got.
I mix it in all my water.
Nice.
That because that's all I drink is water, you know. And coffee. But I used to drink coffee all day. Now I have my cup in the morning, but water is all I drink. And I drink it warm because of my thyroid. So
yeah, and if you're and with kombucha, with the good thing is it's automatically going right to your gut because it's got all the wonderful active probiotics in it, you know.
But it's got a lot of kombucha. You have to be careful with
Now,
those.
help me to understand. I'm saying kombucha.
You're
You're saying kombucha. Which one are you?
Kombucha.
Now, how do you spell?
The H is silent. So
okay, I want to go with that.
So and it's easier for me to remember. I don't care if it's right or not. That's how I'm saying it.
That's cool.
But a lot of the kombuchas, you got to be careful that you get it in a place that's not really high in sugar.
Yeah.
Because some of them are. So that's why, because you don't really need a lot of it. They sell the little bottles, Henry, for like $6. You can get a really large bottle at Trader Joe's or Whole Foods for the same price, and it lasts you a month. So because you're not drinking that, you know, but I'm big on kefir. Kefir's more my thing.
Oh yes, absolutely. Now you're back in my home of New York City, but now which borough are you in?
I'm in the Bronx.
You're the Bronx. She's a Bronx baby.
I'm in the Bronx.
Okay, that's all right. All right, and I'm a Queens guy, you know, but
I used to work in Queens.
Which hospital?
I didn't work in a hospital. I worked in a subacute, QBECF. I love that place.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
So I actually started out in the healthcare field when I was probably about 19 years old. And I wound up, believe it or not, starting at Trump Pavilion Nursing Home, you know? And so
wow.
it was that was pretty interesting by itself. But that was the first time I started seeing, you know, the effects of T2D. You know, there's a wonderful lady named Anna there, and I was very fond of her. And you know, they said I didn't know a whole lot, and you know, or at least much less than I do now. I'm still learning. And the thing is that one day she went out, and I didn't see her, and I asked the nurse where, and she says, "Oh, they're going to take care of her type 2." And I thought that was great. And it took about a week or so, but she came back and she was so miserable because they had removed her legs.
You know, it's funny you should say this, and then we're going to wrap things up a little bit because I have plans tonight. I got to show some legs tonight, you know.
For some reason, I believe that you have great ones.
I do have really good legs. I just don't show them. I'm a creature of habit. I like being comfortable, you know, and because I think because I'm a nurse, I'm always on the floor. You can CPR or something. I am that emergency response lady. So you can't be in a skirt. So when I can, I want to, but I'm usually in things that are very comfortable that I could feel moving because I'm always on the go. So I like to be able to sit how I like. I'm one of those cozy people, but I got some good legs.
Well, I'm glad that you will have.
But I want to tell you the story about this woman.
Talk to me.
We had a woman that we had in a nursing home, and she used to talk, and they removed her legs from diabetes. And when I started working there, I said, "Does she talk?" You know, and they would tell me no, but she did. She's gone now. Tilly, I loved her. So, I'm not mentioning any last names. So, but she would talk. So she also had a feeding tube and stuff like that, you know. So, she didn't have dysphagia, which meant that she could eat and swallow. So her reasons for having a tube had nothing to do with her swallow reflex or anything like that. So I remember on her 90th birthday, I asked the doctor, please let me give this lady a piece of cake. It's her 90th birthday, right? So he said, well, Andra, what are you going to choke? I said, no. I checked with the dietitian. They did the swallow eval. She's fine, you know? He said, all right, Andra. So I said, you want to come watch her have a piece of cake? So they all said she didn't talk. So I went in and I said, Tilly, I got a present for you. And she said, yay. Yay. So everybody, she used to moan and stuff,
Yeah.
but she wanted that cake, you know? And it wasn't even some like thing, but you know, some major chocolate cake. It was just the fact that somebody cared enough about her, because she didn't have family that came to visit her. Of course, at her age, she probably outlived a lot of her family. But then I wound up running that facility years later, and there she was, you know, and I was so angry because she was now, I want to say 96 years old, and they removed her second leg. And I said, why would you even do that? I mean, the infection is going to get to her anyway, you know, why put somebody through that trauma?
You know, it's sad because when you have your health, you have your wealth. That's what I like to say.
Oh my God, I say that all the time, Henry.
Yeah. So first thing, if you have a modicum of health and you know that you have this condition, you take the steps to get rid of it so that you can live healthier, happier, longer. The other thing is this. Part of your treatment that we are going to prescribe for you is to maintain nice, healthy relationships with people that will support you. Build that OxyContin in your body. Wait a minute, I said the wrong thing. But we're talking about the endorphins within the system that will actually give you that beautiful de-stress state. And that's what we want you to do, because that too helps you to lower your glucose. Take those steps and be around individuals that love you.
Are you talking about oxytocin and not
Oxytocin.
not OxyContin?
No, I didn't mean that. That's a
you have everybody high on my show, boy.
So oxytocin, folks, oxytocin.
Okay.
You know, because your body produces that. In fact,
I was like, what is he talking about?
That's one of the reasons why she likes chocolate so much, because it produces that in the body. You see, so cool thing. You've got a function to go to the show those great legs. I am so glad Miss Annette's going to be with you, because
but you'll be here again too, because I really like what you're doing. I'm going to share all your links. I really like it, and I love to hear success stories. You know, I love to hear that people are actually following through, because you know, I told you earlier, I was talking to a colleague of mine, Karen, and they really don't teach the prevention that they need to. I mean, we educate our patients as they come in, but it should start long before that. You know, when I was young, we had home economics. We had to learn how to cook and sew and things like that. There was no getting out of it. They don't offer that to our children.
No, now they put Coca-Cola machines in school.
I know. It's crazy. But I'm going to say goodbye to you guys. This is Henry. I'm going to drop his links underneath. So if you have diabetes and you're looking to lose weight and you're looking to really learn how to reverse your disease process, then Henry's your guy. And I'm going to show you. He also has a YouTube channel.
So Crush Your Mountain. Come join my group. I go live every Tuesday at 5. You know, I'm not stealing from her at all. Okay, just
listen, this isn't about competition, so don't worry about it. We're trying to help the same
We're serious about it. So come see it. Don't now this week coming up, we've got another New York guy, my man, Monsieur Jean Laguerre. He is a 23-time natural bodybuilding champion. We're going to talk about the role of muscle in maintaining optimum health, reversing type 2 diabetes, and in fact, even reversing aging and maintaining your youth. I got it. He's almost 60 years old.
Well, I'm gonna watch
Looks
that.
like
Just at my age, I need all the help I can get with
oh,
you.
you look great, and you got great legs. You're 2/3 there.
All right, so we're gonna say goodbye, guys. I'm gonna prop his links after this airs, and thanks for tuning in. I hope that Henry was able to offer some helpful value to you, because this is very doable. And as always, to your health. Take care. Have a good night.
Ciao for now.
You stay, Henry. Okay, one sec.